Going out to the game farm was quite an experience. I really didn't know what I was thinking when I went out there, but just being out in the desert and some of the shows that I see on television when they talk about South Africa, you know, you're always looking at the animals, and I guess that's the kind of impression that I had, that I was going to see a lot of animals. You know, I was really alert trying to see something out there, but unfortunately we didn't see that much at all. But once we got to the game farm, we were greeted by this chorus group that were there, the women, and they sang for us. And unfortunately, when we got there, it was pretty cold, and even when we first got to Johannesburg, the weather kind of changed quite a bit. We were told that I think like in 25 years it hadn't snowed there before, all those years. But during the time we got there, it snowed. And I took a light jacket during that time because when I was leaving here, Hayes and the rest of the group went down prior to going this last time that we went down. And Melanie Yazzie was telling me, says, "Oh, Ramus, you don't have to take a big jacket. It's going to be about 60 and 70 degrees over there." So I believed her because she was down there prior to that. And lo and behold, when we got there, I almost froze to death. Because I wasn't expecting. I took a light jacket, and anyway, but I survived that. But going out to the car, seeing all the people there, engaging with them, and just the experience again, trying to help them out. And one thing when I came back here, my family asked me, "Well, what kind of experience did you have out there? And what did you see?" And of course, I showed them the baskets that I purchased over here, as you can see, the ones that's here. And also, I purchased that fabric that's there. And I used that fabric in my dining area. And people just adore that when they come to my house and look at that. And I said, "Well, this is fabric that I brought from South Africa." And I purchased that down at the Grahamstown, and we're down there. And when we landed in Mon, I bought those baskets there because I was really impressed. The fact that, you know, you have this little hut that's sitting there, a house, and you go inside of it and you see all kinds of baskets there. I've never seen so many baskets. But what was really inspirational to see, and I was really intrigued, is that when I looked at design and the motifs, it's almost similar to the kind of baskets that the Hopi do. All the designs and even the pueblos. And that really just intrigues me because when the South African group came out the first time 2 years ago, or maybe 2.5 years ago, I was talking to a group and we're out in Taos Pueblo because we gave them a tour out in the area. And one of the things that we're talking about is some of the traditional ways that we handle, like say the weddings. And the same process that they do as far as asking the bride and the groom is the same way that we do in the pueblos. And a lot of the other things that we discussed about, there was so much similarities, and I just always wondered, and I didn't realize that I was going down to South Africa, but I always wondered that there must have been some kind of connection years back. I don't know when, but there must have been some kind of connection somewhere. And the fact that, you know, those similarities are there. And when I went down to South Africa to actually see some of these things, like the designs, the way that people greet you, and the things, the way they conduct a lot of things, it's almost similar to what we do in the pueblos. And I grew up very traditionally in my pueblo, Coachti. And fortunately, I've been able to serve in official capacity at the pueblo. So when we went to one of the communities there, it took us about 2.5 hours to get from the game farm all the way to that community. And Ron showed some of the areas where you saw the school kids prior to those tribal officials coming over. We gave some food to the kids, and it was so enjoyable because I mean, we related back to our own the youth here in the pueblos and in Indian tribes. And so after the tribe came, and we sat down, and I noticed that Jill was going to join us up in that area where we're all sitting with the tribal groups, and she was politely told that she can't be in And so anyway, that was something that I didn't realize at all, that they had that kind of tradition. But we had an interpreter during that time, and so we were able to address some of the issues. As I mentioned to you, the area that I worked on was in the economic development, tribal leadership, and then later on, going back to the car, we were talking about the health issues. And I can imagine going back maybe 60, maybe 100 years back, the Native American tribes were probably in those situations at that time. Because I always wondered how did our people survive in those cold weathers, especially when I look at some of the Plains Indians. When you look at the movies, when you go back in history, how they travel from one place to another and going through the cold weather and all that. But they were able to survive. And so anyway, I was thinking about the same thing there. Because the way I saw how the tribal groups were, they were trying to address certain issues that they have, and they had a lot of concerns. But they really didn't have any voice at all. And that was, I think, one of the main setbacks, is that they didn't have any voice at all. And they weren't being recognized at all either as well. Maybe among themselves they were, but to the outside they weren't at all. And there was no cooperation from the government in some of the things that they want to do. And so that was kind of heartening to see that. And so we gave them some information, some of the things that they can do. One of the things that I really stressed to the tribal leaders was that you need to start aligning yourself. Alliances is really the thing that you need to do. Because you have other communities, not only you, but you have a community in Dakar and other places. I think there was about 12 communities. And in order to address certain issues, you have to align yourself and talk among yourselves. And because I think you all have the same common concerns. So that was some of the things, and we gave them some of the ways that they can approach this and how to address that. So later on, when I came back, they were able to send some of that, we were able to communicate over the internet, and they were saying they were trying to implement some of those, and hopefully it will work for them. But overall, it was a great time. We enjoyed ourselves, and we were fortunate that we were able to travel in groups, because we were able to support each other as well. I think myself, Val Johnson, and Gail, we all got sick pretty well, but we were able to support each other, and we survived that. But besides that, I think it was very inspirational to me. I learned a lot when I was down there, and I was able to relate some of the things that these people are going through that maybe our people went through years back. But still, we still have a lot of challenges. So hopefully, and I'd like to thank the Kellogg Foundation for giving us this opportunity, and hopefully that we'll be able to go back down. And I thought the days that we spent there wasn't really enough, so we didn't have much time to work with those people. I wish we had more time to do that. So maybe in the future there's that opportunity that we need to do that, have a longer engagement rather than what we've done. So I just want to thank the Kellogg Foundation and the staff, the Kellogg staff Foundation from South Africa to give me this loan, and it was a great opportunity. So I want to thank everybody. Thank you.